Hi, everyone, and welcome to my inaugural podcast, Gay Solo Travel, a podcast dedicated to the beauty and the excitement of being a solo traveler who is also gay. Um, it's funny because I say solo traveler first instead of, gay because um, even though gay identity and queer identity is so important to who we are and shapes so much of our lives, whether we like it or not, but I do think that being a solo traveler or just a traveler in general is really more about wanderlust as an individual of wanting to see the world, explore the world, see the sites that we hear about and that we see on Instagram, uh participating in different cultures, trying different cuisines, and so even though this is a podcast that really focuses on what it means to be a gay or queer identified individual who enjoys traveling on their own, I think it's really more about being a solo traveler who also just happens to be gay. I myself personally don't necessarily revolve a lot of my travel around gay destinations or gay events. I don't really do the Pride circuit. I don't really do, gay cruises. And when I do travel, I don't necessarily make, visiting gay spaces the top priority. If I'm traveling, it's because I want to visit a particular country or, a particular city or set of cities. And so on and so forth. But of course, as a gay identified individual, um, depending, of course, on your mannerisms and the way that you express your identity, your gender, of course, there are issues of safety, of acceptance, of openness, and there's a bit of a performative element that comes to traveling, just generally as a queer person, but especially if you're traveling, you know. On your own. And so it's always going to play a role, I think, in where we go and what we do when we're there. But I think for most people who do travel on their own and who are gay, it's not necessarily, the primary sort of focus of why we travel. Although if it is, that's great as well. And maybe as time goes on, I will sort of give in and try out a gay cruise or maybe, a gay resort somewhere, in a beautiful coastal or tropical country. I just haven't really done it yet. And of course, when I do travel, I think like most people, it's not to say that I don't go out to the village at all. I do. There's definitely that aspect. Which is really important because I really love seeing how, local queer people and queer culture, exists and is negotiated. And let's be honest, even when you are traveling, you travel to leave home, to get out of your comfort zone and try something different. There's really something wonderful about like a gay bar, a gay or queer space, an event that just makes you feel like you're at home, right? It's a little piece of home away from home. I think one of the things that I like about being a gay traveler is you can kind of go almost anywhere in the world. And if you see, a rainbow flag or a trans flag, you can go in that space and feel just a little bit of home while you're there, and that's really enjoyable. I'm based in Canada, in Toronto, in fact, and I would almost liken it to seeing almost like a Tim Hortons somewhere. I know it's easy to dump on Tim Hortons now because who a lot of people who are Canadian at least may not travel just to have a cup of Tim Hortons in you know uh, China or Mexico or India. Um, but it is that little piece of home, I think, that rings true when you are, away from home. So, yeah, thank you for joining me on this journey. I will say that this is a bit of an experiment. I don't know what exactly it is that I want to do with this podcast. What I know is that I'm gay. I like to travel and I like to talk travel, not just to queer people, it just travel in general. And although I do travel with friends on occasion, I do really enjoy traveling, on my own. And I think that there are a lot of other people out there who like to travel on their own, and I think there's a lot of queer people out there who like to travel on their own. So I'd love the opportunity to connect with those people, to have conversations with those people. Um, so, um, this podcast is really dedicated to those who maybe just want to listen to myself and maybe other people. Ideally, I'd love to have guests at some point on to talk about travel, the different places we've been, and not just destinations, but also maybe events or, issues that I think affect, queer and gay identified people when we travel, or when we're choosing to travel. Um, like I said, this is a bit experimental. I'm going to figure it out as we go along, but it should be a lot of fun. And ideally, if anything, it acts as a bit of a community, a bit of a space for people who are like me, who are gay and who like to travel and tend to prefer to travel on their own. So thank you so much for joining me. And I look forward to continuing this experimental journey with you by my side.